When you're hunting, I'm sorry, you're gonna need a little bit of help when you're blind.
Many people ask, if you're disabled, how can you even fire a gun? How can we trust you? People with chronic disabilities, disabling physical injuries, and chronic pain are no doubt at a disadvantage. But many people who are physically disabled had found that gun policies do not prevent them from buying, using, or concealed carrying. But what about blind people? How do they fit into these policies? Do they have the right to a gun just like anyone else? Many states, in fact, say yes. In a BBC article titled Guide Dogs and Guns, America's Blind Gunmen, they write, "In the US, being blind is no bar to owning and carrying firearms. The blind people who do it say they are simply exercising their constitutional right and present no danger to the public. It's even more straightforward for blind people to own guns if they are content to leave them at home. In most states, you don't need to perform a shooting test or get a license to buy a gun. Vision requirements are either directly or indirectly part of the weapon permit criteria in some states. Yet the Gun Control Act of 1968 and other federal laws do not prohibit blind people from owning guns." In a USA Today post, it writes that other states have indirect requirements that could, but don't automatically disqualify people who are blind. Shooting has been a part of the Paralympic Games since 1976 in Toronto, and is open to all athletes who have a physical impairment. There are two categories of competition, wheelchair and standing. In an article by the International Blind Sports Federation, they wrote that they've been working to seek inclusion of vision-impaired shooting in IPC competitions, with the goal that this shooting could be introduced in the 2024 Paralympic Games. Michael Barber is completely blind and has been since birth. Even though he cannot see his target, he believes that he has every right to conceal carry, as well as defend himself from potential attackers.
I am, and I'm convinced that I could do what needs to be done if the time ever came.
I would aim by hearing, by feel. You know, the person's going to be in close proximity to me. I hope I never have to do that. I really do. I would just soon not. But, you know, if I had to protect myself, yes, I would.
However, not everyone is comfortable with the visually impaired and blind people owning, carrying, and using guns.
Where we have an issue is in this conceal and carry, that a person who's visually impaired and cannot see would be in public with a gun and potentially endangering public safety.
What possible sense can there be in people who literally cannot see at all wielding a firearm at anyone that possibly comes into their home?
Hudson, Executive Director of Disability Rights Iowa, believes changing the state law to deny blind people or others with physical disabilities the right to carry arms would violate federal disability law. Presumably, they're going to have enough sense not to use a weapon in a situation where they would endanger other people, just like we would expect other people to have that common sense. At 27, Carrie McWilliams became the first totally blind person in the USA to acquire a concealed carry permit. Despite weapons training during his ROTC years, McWilliams has faced opposition to his right to bear arms from both the media and public officials.
Anybody that has access to this kind of stuff has got to have their marbles. Well, that's safe. This fire. You have a certain element of society that's just mentally incapable of handling guns. But get off of blind people's backs, because the deal is that even though you don't have eyesight, you have a brain. There are no numbers to support the fact that there's a lot of blind people involved in mass shootings or accidental shootings. So it's kind of like blaming farts for tornadoes.
Oh boy, good boy.